with Dignity Sunday. It's fall back, daylight savings. Did you guys wake up a little earlier than you needed to? Welcome, Platinum members. I am so excited to see you. We've been doing this work together for 30 days, and you have been listening, and you have been doing all this work. And I want to start off by saying congratulations, because you know, there is a lot of people out there, a lot of women who are dissatisfied with their love life. They're dissatisfied with dating. Maybe they think it's the city they live in, their age, whatever it is. And what they would prefer to do is complain about it. That is not you. You are women who not only saw something that was going to be interesting and give you some information, but you took it to the next level. You became a Platinum member, and you decided that you were going to get more than information and ahas, and you were going to start taking it into action. And I really want you to know, and I have some very special guests here that I'm going to introduce you to that are going to validate that decision that you made by sharing their results, because they did what you did. Because of that, you have set yourself in a position to create success, find the love that you want. I've got feedback. Anyway, so I just want you to know that you're actually special and you're doing everything you can right in this moment. We're going to give you opportunities later to take it to the next level with us, because I feel from the bottom of my heart that what you want is totally possible for you. It's not only for the lucky. It's not only for the skinny. It's not only for the people who live in a major metropolitan area with high-quality, conscious, spiritual men, wherever that is. This can happen for you. And so today, we want to help you get to the next level. We want you to bring your questions. We want you to bring your heart, so that this expert panel that we have, your team, can really give you the information that you need to find love now. So with that, I want to introduce my first guest, Matt Boggs. Matt, thank you for being here on a Sunday. You got your little bambina, your little baby, so I appreciate that you took family time away to be with us. So welcome.
Good morning, Marnie. It's great to be here with you and all of our Platinum members, and we've been having a great time on the He Said, She Said conversations, and so I'm very excited about today and what we get to do here on this live video cast. And yes, I've got my little bambina. For those who don't know, I recently became a first-time father. I have an 8-week-old baby. She's downstairs, and this morning she discovered her right arm. And it blew her mind. It absolutely blew her mind. She was like, oh my God, I've got a right arm. And she was like this for an hour. I said, wow, we are all making discoveries today, so we are in the right place.
I love that. You know what's really cool about that? I'm so glad you shared that story, because children, babies, you know, they discover that right arm with awe. You know, and it's like, I've never seen this before. And so we are going to honor her discovery today by inviting you. What if you take an approach to dating as if you literally were like, wow, I never saw this for the first time, and let go of all the stuff you think you know? You might blow your mind. So that's cool. Thank you, little baby girl, for that. Okay, Craig, is Adam with us yet?
No, Adam, come on, join up.
Adam, we're waiting for Adam. Last year we were waiting for Matthew Hussey. You know these high-maintenance men. So we've got our team here, and we're looking for Adam. Adam Glad is going to be here also answering your questions. He is the expert at online dating and how to attract the good guys online. So I'm super, super excited for him to be here. So let's get started. Here's how we're going to play today. It's your opportunity to ask questions. There is a little chat space, and we have our team member Maya, who is over here. Woohoo, Maya! Who is going to be fielding your questions, reading them out loud for you so that you can be a little bit anonymous. But we really want to give you an opportunity not just to ask questions but get some coaching, because we are here to support and serve you. So welcome, and even just check in on the chat, tell us you're here, share your name. This is an opportunity. This is the first time this community is actually coming together in real time. as a Platinum membership community, and we're going to work together in the 5 Keys course, and I hope you're going to come to Ignite Your Life. I have a little picture book I'm going to show you later about Ignite Your Life, because one of our members made this from last year, so that's really cool. So Maya, who's here, and do we have any questions yet?
We do. It's so early that people already.
Yay! I love it. Well, who's here? Can you tell me some of the ladies that are here?
I can.
Awesome.
Well, let's see. I'm gonna try to pick the less fun one. Okay, so here's actually a good one, and Adam can help answer this, but I can ask you and Matt first.
Okay, that's great.
And Adam actually just texted me. So
okay, Adam is on. He's in the vicinity.
Okay, so the question is, what can I do to improve the odds that a man will contact me?
What can I do? Okay.
But what I was going to say is we can do, maybe he can answer about online, and then you can answer in real life.
Okay, I love it. Maya is so good. Maya, maybe I'll make her come sit here, even though her hair is messy this morning. Maya has put together the entire summit for you. She worked with all the speakers. She's amazing. And I've known her since she was 12. And she's definitely not 12 anymore. Okay, so how can I improve my odds? What is it of getting a guy to ask me out?
That a man will contact me. How do you improve the odds that a man will contact you?
Okay, so number one, the answer is, are you making it really clear that you are interested in him? And I can't wait to have Matt and Adam answer this, because when we talk to men, the number one thing they say is that, you know, they're unsure and scared too. So unless you make it really obvious, they don't want to get rejected either. So some things that you can do are, you can smile a lot, you can have eye contact, and you can do body language, right? So like leaning in and touching on the shoulder or the elbow, you know, being engaged. One of the things that women do, and they do it unconsciously and sometimes consciously, is if you're in like a crowded place, maybe it's a restaurant or a festival, I mean, you're talking to someone and you do this eye scan thing. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Where you're like looking to see if anyone else cuter is coming in, or to see if that guy that you thought was really cute is looking at you because this guy's not as cute, and you're like, or you're looking at your phone. Now, some of us have learned along the way that like it's cool to be aloof and play hard to get. That is not true, not with a quality guy. So you want to be engaged. You do not want to look at your phone. You want to keep that eye contact. And the last little tip I will give that is really specific is about throwing the softball. Now, I wish Kristen Anderson were here. He almost was going to be here, but he had to do some other work. Christian really came up with this verbiage of the softball. And so that is in the conversation. Let's say you're talking about art, and you would say, oh, you know, I just saw it in the paper or online that there's this Andy Warhol exhibit, and I've really been wanting to go to it, and I just love his work, and I'm really fascinated. What about you? And you're giving him an opportunity to say, well, yeah, do you want to go together? Right? You're in a really feminine way communicating, I would like you to ask me out to this. You don't even have to think of something to do. I just gave you the answer. So really, really important, throw the softball. The worst thing that can happen is that he does not catch it. And he will either ask you out later, or he's just not your match and you had a really awesome conversation. So Matt, anything that you want to add from your cracking the man code point of view?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are great, great tips. And just to reiterate one, to really drive this point home, is you want to give your man, the guy you're interested in, a giant green light. Because every guy has crossed the room to approach a woman and been shot down and done the long walk of shame while his buddies are laughing, saying, dude, I told you she was out of your league, you know. And it's devastating. It's heartbreaking. So we've all been shot down. It's been very, very painful. So the one thing that we look for is a giant green light. Now, you can't get any greener, meaning you can't get any more obvious, letting us know that you want to talk to us, than you actually starting the conversation. That's what I would say. She was like, how do I get more guys to reach out to me? Reach out to more guys, right? When you're online, email them first. in some of the programs that we do, you know, women were like, well, if I email the guy, am I just being the masculine if I'm going out with him? Absolutely not, especially online. You have full permission to remain in the feminine. Email him, start the conversation, ask him something cool about his profile, and then let him pick up the slack and start pursuing you. Same thing, Marnie, you had a great example the other day on the He Said, She Said call in the grocery store. You see a hot guy, you're in the Prego Ragu sauce aisle, and you're like, hey, you know what, can you help me get this sauce off the top shelf? Like, you find something on a top shelf that you really, maybe you want, maybe you don't, but it's really a tool. Like, it's like something that you can use to
use your
break
sauce.
The ice. Yeah, use that sauce. Say, hey, come here, can you help me with this? And you strike up a conversation that way. There's nothing more green light than that for a man, and it gives him permission. Let me just tell you, from a guy's point of view, we love it when you make our job as easy as possible to break the ice. And this is a key, this is a nuance, right? Is that first initial contact is the hardest for us. After that, your man's going to pick up the slack, he's going to take the lead, and he's going to ask you out. A lot of women have it reversed. They play super hard to get, to break the ice, but then as soon as he wants to take you out, as soon as he wants to go the extra, you know, take the relationship to the physical, women are like, yay, let's do this, because he already just broke the ice. Reverse it. Be a little bit easier on the front end. Give him the green light, and then have your discerner up. Let him prove himself to you in order to earn more time with you, earn commitment with you, earn physical intimacy with you. All of those things should be harder to achieve, but big green light up front.
I love that. And, you know, one of the limiting beliefs is, you know, that we think that we're over the top and we're flirting. And I had a client once, and I love this story. She went to a party, and it was hosted by one of her, you know, like her gay best friends. So she, lots of gay guys, but it was her best friend, and so she went to this party, and she totally felt comfortable wearing like a sexy outfit, way more sexy than she would ever wear like to a regular party. You guys know what I mean? And there was a super cute bartender. She assumed he's probably gay too. She starts talking to him. She's like flirting like crazy because he's super cute. And he is like all over her, asking her out. I can't wait to see. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. He wasn't gay. And so they ended up having a relationship. And she told me later, like, I totally felt like I was being so obnoxious in my flirtation, but she wasn't. She was just being flirtatious. So what I'm encouraging you to do is explore and amp up the flirtation. The worst thing that can happen is you have a lot of guys asking you out. And then that's another problem we can talk about, you know, how do you say no? But amp it up. Turn up the dial 10% the next time you go out and just see what it feels like. And it feels really uncomfortable. It's a great big sign that we need to go back and do some deeper work around why do you feel uncomfortable being in your sensuality, being in your femininity, and flirting, which takes us to our first opportunity to talk about Ignite Your Life Live, which is in January. And I know like about, I don't know, a quarter of you, I think, have already claimed your bonus ticket. And Craig, is that like bonus ticket button happening on our screen?
An offer I could put up, is that it?
Yeah, that is it. It's an invitation. You guys are platinum, and we're going to gather here in a week or so. We're going to start taking the 5 Keys to Being Perpetually Irresistible program, and I want to invite you to come to our event. You have a ticket. You know what's really cool is we changed some things around, so it's $97 that you get back at the door. It's free. We're going to bring Stacy up here in a little bit. She's like, oh my God, because she was talking about how she was sitting in your seat, so to speak, going like, should I go? I don't know. You know, it's $97. Well, actually, it's free. She was trying to come up with excuses not to go, but it was too easy. So I really encourage you to make that decision to have an outcome that is what you want. And we can talk more later about the power of making powerful decisions and moving from I wish and I want to I will. Matt, anything you want to add about our big opportunity for Ignite Your Life?
Yeah, we talked a lot about this on our He Said, She Said calls, but it's the one thing that I'll add is the universe reads our intention through our actions. and it doesn't get any clearer to your life saying I'm ready and wanting a deeper relationship. Some of you are in relationships, you're like, well, do I really need to go? You don't have to go, but it would absolutely serve you to be there, because you're going to learn all kinds of relationship tools and techniques and strategies to take your current relationship deeper. And if you want to attract the person that you're with, absolutely, if you want to attract the person that you want to be with, I should say, absolutely make the commitment to be there, because you're sending an unmistakable signal. You actually change your whole vibe, because you're saying, I'm available, I'm open, this is important to me, this is a priority to me, and that begins to shift everything. So I would say, you know, just because, you know, Marnie's job is to make it really easy for you to go, and I would say on, you know, on your side, just to challenge you a little bit and say, how important is having this relationship to you? For me, I came up with that big decision in my life. I met a woman that I fell in love with, but she lived 1,000 miles away from me. And I had an opportunity to, and I was dating, we were both dating other people. I was online, I was dating other people. I was living in Portland, Oregon. This woman was in Southern California. And there was a moment, a real tangible decision moment where I said, I didn't know I wanted to marry this woman. I didn't even know if I wanted to, how long I wanted to be with her, but she was the woman who had the most potential in my life. And I thought, how important is relationships to me? How important is finding the love of my life? And if it's really important, then I need to take a risk. You know, because some of you are thinking, well, there's no guarantee that I'm going to find my man if I go to this thing. No, it's not, but you've got to take a risk. You've got to put yourself out there. And so I moved my ass 1,000 miles down to Southern California for the possibility that this might be someone amazing. And it turned out it was, and it turned out I ended up getting married to her, and now we've got our first baby together, and I'm so glad that I took that risk and invested in my dreams and in what I wanted most. And so that's my encouragement to you, is if it's a big obstacle, that's okay. That's great. That means that you're invested just that much more in being there. So make sure to grab your ticket. We're going to love to see you there. It's going to be a life-changing weekend, and yeah, that's the end of my speech.
And you get to see Matt Boggs. I can see myself too. Hi, me. Matt looks so cute with the beard. I've never seen him like that. I love it. And I got the best news. Adam Glad is here from the mountains of Colorado. Hey, Adam. I think he might be in a chairlift. I don't know. Adam, are you there?
Can you see me?
Yes.
Sort of.
Can you hear me?
I'm trying.
Turn your phone. This is like talking to my dad. Dad, turn the phone this way so we can see you.
Better.
Like so?
Other way to do it.
The
other way.
Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you got to turn your phone around.
Well, maybe.
We'll hopefully you can figure it out.
Like that.
No.
Can you hear me?
We'll take it.
We can hear you. Oh my gosh, Adam, how are you doing? I'm so happy that you're here this morning.
I'm good. Give me a second. I have to fix my sound. 1 sec.
Okay, cool. Now a tuxedo man has appeared in his place.
Where I am, by the way.
What?
What are you looking at when I show you?
Right now there's a picture of you in a
Can you see?
tuxedo that I hope wasn't your online profile picture because it looks really old.
Oh, Jesus. Hang on. I can see me.
Oh, I can see you now, ish. Adam, welcome. We're so happy that you're here. Are you ready to answer a question right out of the gate?
You see where I am? Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we had a question about how can I increase the likelihood that someone will contact me, and we were talking about offline, but I was wondering if you could answer that question about online. What can you do to increase the chances that someone
Tell
will
me if you can hear
engage
me.
with you?
You can
Yeah,
hear
buddy.
me? Yes?
Yeah, yes, Adam, we can hear you, buddy. You're good to go.
Okay. Yeah, be fucking amazing. Love your life. Stand for something. You know, show that you are the feminine source of beauty and joy and intelligence and wisdom that men truly crave, and forget all the bullshit of playing small. How's that?
That's awesome. I love that. And luckily, the teenagers that love us on YouTube probably aren't here, so it's okay that you can
Teenagers,
use
this
the
is a
F word.
grown-up stuff.
No, so okay, so that's awesome. So how do you do that through the written word? I mean, how do you show that you stand for something?
Well, first you have to stand for something. So let's not forget that. Listen, we're swimming in a culture of mediocrity. If you're watching junk television, if you're reading junk novels, if you're hanging around with junk friends, you'll have nothing but junk to offer. If you read great posts, if you read the great spiritual teachers, if you send yourselves to conferences like Marnie's, or I'm here in Boulder, Colorado. Do that.
Gorgeous.
And John Mackey, who founded Whole Foods. Barbara just spoke. Tony Hsieh, who founded Zappos. Mark Goffney, who's a brilliant Kabbalistic rabbi. We're here talking about the evolution of love. How do we evolve ourselves? How do you live inspired? How do you inspire somebody? You can't inspire somebody into love unless you're inspired yourself. And that means you've got to really down the stuff that doesn't inspire you. And when you're inspired, it's not hard to communicate that you're inspired.
I think this is actually an important point. So one of the things that we really teach, Dating with Dignity, is that not only do you have to love yourself, but you have to create a life that you love, regardless of whether there's a guy in it. And we see a lot of online profiles that are all about what I don't want, what I don't like. It's so clear that the person who's writing it is looking for someone to fill this blank space. And so if I could put what Adam said into very practical terms, and when he said it, and it's actually pretty deep, like make sure you stand for something. The women that we work with who fall in love with their life and become passionate about it, they actually do share that. And the words that they choose, because it's really who they are in an authentic way, their profile is like, I love my life, and I am so excited to have someone to share it with, rather than, I'm looking for someone, and I, do this, and I spend my days with family and friends. It's like literally vanilla, but not even really good vanilla. So the invitation...
Not Ben & Jerry's vanilla. Safeway vanilla.
No, but you know what? I want to give you some homework based on what Adam said. Write down right now, what is it that you stand for? Make a list of 3 things that you're passionate about, that you stand for. And I want you to pull out your online profile and let me know, is it clear in your profile that you have passion in your life about any of these 3 things? And I'd love for people to write in and share, what is it that you stand for? So we can even help you with your profile here. So that's great. Thank you, Adam. I love that answer. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, a lot. And not just what you stand for, but how are those expressions of love? Because what they're not looking for a political partner right now. When men look for you online or they look for you in person, they're not looking, they do want to admire sort of what you stand for, but now can you couch that in terms of how are you a vehicle of love in this world? Because in many ways, you're our connector to love in this world. Most men live in their heads, most men, and, guy like Matt, guy like me, we have very strong masculine and feminine sides. We're pretty connected people. But most men really live in their heads, and they're not connected to their sort of source of love. Their expression of love often doesn't arrive to you as love. One of the speakers here, let me just think, who was it? It was so good. Esther Perel, who's a brilliant psychologist who wrote Mating in Captivity, which is one of those essential books that I talk about, said that most men have expressed their love traditionally by being away from their families and working. Okay, so it's we've come out of a horrible period in terms of love. So how does a man connect to his heart and to his love? It's really through the feminine. It's often through the women in their lives. So those 3 things that you stand for, that's very masculine. Now look at it as how are they expressions of you putting love into the world? Because I guarantee you, men are attracted to your fountain of love, your ability to love, both as mother, as lover, and as the goddess, and all the sort of incarnations of the feminine. We hunger for that, and we don't get to have that in our day-to-day lives, usually at work, for example. And that's what really calls us out to you in a way that's so much more powerful than sort of just matching up or common interests.
I love that. It's like come from this place of love, and how is what you stand for and what you do in the world expressed in that place of love. I think when you do that, your profile is going to be so dramatically different that you will definitely increase the likelihood that men are contacting you. And then, of course, there's like, make sure you have a good picture.
Well, obviously. Well, even more, more than that. Absolutely. Take your picture very seriously. Obviously, men are visual, and they want to, and I'll say something else. Like, if you look at the history of art, I don't know if you know this, Marnie, but my PhD was part in art history. If you look at the history of art, or if you look at films, and I've written a lot of films, men fall in love with the female form in an act of love, whether it's a small domestic task, or if you look at movies, like he looks at her and she's helping a child, she's a school teacher, or she's doing her art, and in some way she's not hungering for love, which is kind of a turnoff for men. For the right men, okay, by the way, for the men who like to be predators on women, that's what they look for. But when you're in your fullness of love, that's what attracts us. When you're involved in an act of love, whether it's tending children or tending your craft or your art or your purpose or your work or beauty, just like, there's something very erotic about a man watching a woman put on her makeup, or get dressed, or just adorn herself and bring beauty into our existence. It's not merely sexual, it's deeply erotic, and deeply erotic means connected to the eros of the universe, to the life force, to the beauty of being alive. And I want to underline this because so many women don't realize how deep it goes for men. On the common cultural crass surface, it's all about sex. And that's where it is, but it's so much deeper. You connect us to our heart, you connect us to love, you connect us to life itself. So the more connected you are to life itself, and the more you can communicate yourself as connected to life, as Marnie said, purpose, invest and not need, right? The more we're going to be attracted to you. And I'll say one other thing. In terms of profiles, because it's really kind of an expertise of mine, you really want to it's marketing. A profile is marketing. So you have to meet your customer where they are. And where a man is, a man of choice who is online, he's looking for somebody who is going to make his life better, right? He's going to look for someone who's going to bring love into his life, who's competent, who loves men. There's an idea. Who has an understanding of character and what she's looking for. So in my work on online dating, I talk about these 13 victories that men look for. And you want to get into a man's mind. And this is, again, for men of choice. Men who can, have their choice of partners. They're going to look at your profile and think, here's a woman, my life will be better because she already loves her life. My life will be better because she loves her body, which bodes well for us. My life will be better because she loves men. There's a great line to put into your profile. Talk about what it is that you love about men, and to put character first. Right.
I love that. Thank you for all those very practical tips too. And so when Adam is saying, we want you to love your life, that's why our event is called Ignite Your Life. Because so many of us are walking out there uninspired, unignited. We don't have passion. We just feel lonely and sad. And you can't fake that. You can't fake inspired. You can't fake vitality and joy. And so we didn't name it Ignite Your Life just because we thought that sounded cool, and there's a great Katy Perry song with that line in it. Because we know that if you ignite your life, you're going to be more attracted. So to men, to quality men. I love Adam calls them men of choice. Before we go to the next question, Matt Boggs with the sexy beard, anything else you want to add?
Just to confirm what Adam said, man, it's brilliant, because the one defining quality that men who stick around women, ultimately the conversations they have inside their own heads and what they say to their friends is, man, I just feel good about myself when I'm around her. I feel better about myself. I feel more alive when I'm around her, and that's because life is contagious. When you're in love with life, men experience beauty through you. How you're taking in beauty, how you're taking in the sensuality of eating a meal. I mean, we look to you and how you're responding to life, and that ignites our experience of life. And so I fully agree. It's absolute. Your degree of aliveness, your degree of celebrating men, your degree of how much joy that you're experiencing absolutely translates online and is magnetic to us.
I love that. And so let's do a little coachy coach moment. When you hear Matt and Adam talking about these essences of being, are those resonating for you? Are you feeling like these are the descriptions of you in your life right now? Most of the time. Now, one of the things I know about women who come to our tribe, to Dating with Dignity, is you guys are really smart. You are really good at what you do, and you work really hard. You are trying really, really hard to do this. And for most of you, you're probably way better, happier than you maybe have ever been in your life. And that's why you're ready and you really want this. One of these mechanisms that we build is what we call the coping mechanism. It's a coper. And you go, yeah, I do most of those things. I mean, when I'm da-da-da, I'm most of those things. But what I want to ask you is to get really honest with yourself. When you are laying in bed at night, when the cute guy that said he's going to call you didn't call you, where are your thoughts? Are they in the joy of your life as it is? Or are they in the what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong space? And that's what we need to change, is when the going gets tough in dating, where do you go to? Where are your thoughts? Because what we want in the invitation for you, you're a platinum member. You are saying, I am going to go to the next level. I know you're better than you ever have been. I know that. But now, like, let's go to the next level. So what do you need to change so that you are being all these beautiful characteristics that Matt and Adam described most of the time? Most of the time. So that's my coaching challenge, coachy coach moment for you. All right, Maya, any comments?
Yeah. So this is private, so I won't mention her name. But she says, my ex-boyfriend ended our relationship, but bumps into me at restaurants and says, great seeing you tonight, you look fantastic, and texts me similar things, but never pursues anything when I give him a lead to do something together again. Why do they do this? It's so confusing.
It is so confusing. So at Dating with Dignity, what do I say, ladies, about the ex?
Get him out of your life.
But what happens? They always
come back.
They always come back. They always come back because you get your sass going on and you get over it. And they see you and they're like, Craig and I were just talking about this. It's like, wait a minute, you're a better version of yourself. How come? Should I have stuck around for the better version? I'm confused. So but I'm going to default to the men on this. So inside the minds of men, Matt Boggs, why does a guy be like, you look fantastic, and then text even though he has no intention to get back together? What should she do?
Here's the one rule of thumb when you say, like, this is so confusing. Take men at their actions rather than their words. His actions are not confusing at all. He comes up, says some nice words, but is he pursuing you? Is he asking? Is he taking you out? Right? If he's not, then he's just being nice, and he's trying to maybe keep the door open for a back door later on if things in his current life don't work out, which is one of men's programmings is for efficiency. We like to keep as many opportunities on the table as possible. So that's typically what guys will do, is they'll keep the opportunity open by being nice, by keeping it up. But if he's not asking you out, if he's not pursuing you, he's really not interested. And unfortunately, that's the harsh reality.
I love this because, you know, I've told my ladies in the inner circle, you know, I dated this guy. It's been almost like 10 years. And he still is like, wow, you look great. How you doing? I'm like, now I'm married. Like, what are you doing? It's like, I really honestly think it's like, well, maybe just in case, you know, and the more confident, it's the universe also. I feel like the more confident you are, the people from the past come back and they give us an opportunity to say, am I going forward or am I going backward? And so I would say to this platinum member, be like polite, but do not engage, right? Like, thanks, great seeing you too. Do not throw, this guy doesn't deserve a softball, sister. Don't throw him any more softballs.
Yeah, Matt, are you there? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, we can hear you, buddy.
Yeah, Matt. actions. Not only is he maybe trying to keep it back, but loving himself. And I know this from my own experience. He's just making himself feel good because he creates. Remember, I was saying that men feel very arid inside. They feel very disconnected. And if they feel they can awaken that little glimmer of erotic connection with you, it actually makes us feel better. It gives us a little bit of energy. And even though it's fantasy energy or illusionary energy, and even if they may not even go again, just so they can feel connected, they can feel alive for a second. That's what that often is. So, I can't underline what Matt said enough. Follow up the actions.
Yeah, it's not. I love this. It's not confusing. It's not confusing. All right. Do we have any other questiones?
Yes, and Adam has to go back to his conference in about 20 minutes.
Okay.
So we'll try to.
Yep.
All the questions.
Absolutely.
So the same person.
Yes.
Says, my girlfriends tell me I'm a great catch for any man. I'm tall, British accent,
Woohoo!
dressed professionally, outgoing, fun, etc. But for some reason, I never attract the man I'm looking for. I've been told I come across as intimidating to most men.
Yes, I understand this. It's sort of like our specialty here at Dating with Dignity. And actually, I was at dinner the other night with a friend who has a friend who's really smart. I think she actually works like in Deepak Chopra's organization. She's spiritual. She's beautiful. And so the invitation is to really think about what we call boxing gloves. And what we want to do is we want to sort of, the coping is like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm great, I'm smart. Like, yes, you are. And we want to go to the next level. And Matt and I have been talking on He Said, She Said about the quality of questions that you ask yourself. So what could I do to be less intimidating? What could I be doing to activate more of my feminine self? And when we look at the boxing gloves, we can sort of start to pinpoint what is experienced by men as intimidating. And one of those things to look at is, what do you believe about men, about yourself, about dating, about relationship? And so asking questions like, what is it that I believe about trust? Do I trust men easily? Do I not trust myself? When I'm dating, what do I really think about having to protect myself? Right? Am I sort of keeping my cards close until I'm sure he's the one? What do I believe around forgiveness? Is someone like, they have to earn forgiveness from me? So start looking at the places in your life where you're kind of wearing the boxing gloves. For a lot of us, and myself included, I'm always working on this piece. How can I come from a place of feminine and openness and vulnerability? And so when we're out there dating and we're talking about like our success and what we want, and we're walking out the door first, and we're very much in charge and in control, it's not that you are intimidating. It's that you could be experienced as intimidating because someone else's filter is saying this woman is not a match because there's some sort of masculinity or there's some sort of thing that's off, right, for a guy. So it's important for you to look at, what are my beliefs about love, dating, and men, and look at, are any of those sort of like guarded? Because that's one of the first things that can be experienced by men as intimidating. Adam, you want to answer that?
There's a lot to say there, absolutely. First of all, you want to intimidate some men. Be yourself. If you're a powerful woman, you're a powerful woman. And you don't need to attract all men. You need to attract somebody who's worthy of you. So that's number one. So I don't want you to feel bad about your power if you're empowered. We are living in a confusing time, by the way. Men and women don't know their roles. And it's not that we're wrong or bad. It's just that our roles have changed so fast, and our inner lives haven't, or our, let's say, our evolutionary biology lives haven't caught up with our technological, modern, capitalistic, democratic lives. So things are changing super fast. And if you're a powerful woman, fantastic. However, if you want to find a man who you want to feel is more masculine than you, you need to open up that gap. So now, and by the way, not every powerful masculine woman wants a masculine man. Sometimes you might want that guy who stays home and cooks and brings up the kids, and that's awesome, by the way. That's fine. But if you want a man who's more traditionally masculine, you have to be responsible to open up that gap. Because, and it's not that you're bad, again, it's just that you're living in a time where you now have masculine power, and men are working on developing their feminine power. So when I say opening up that gap, you have to create that, which means you've got to turn on the feminine. You've got to allow him to make decisions. You've got to let him step into the masculine if you want him to be masculine. And that means you've got to shut off what works.
I think, I'm laughing to myself because last night Jeremy and I went out and I was like looking to meet some friends, and I totally felt myself doing that walk ahead thing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm totally in my masculine right now. And I had to like slow down and let him lead. Yeah. And it's weird. It's like this organic thing, but I have this consciousness. And later he said, I really like it when we walk into a place like holding hands like together. Like that's an important thing for him. So I love that.
That's beautiful. Marnie, I just have to say, my power is almost out, so you may lose me, and I'm really sorry. I just noticed that I'm way down on my phone power, and I'm outside, and I'm not near a charger. So I apologize ahead of time.
This is like one of those iPhone commercials.
Sorry, I just noticed. But let me say something else. The other part of it is to really connect with your body. And I agree with you 100%, by the way. I just recently got engaged, by the way, after 14 years of being gloriously single. And one of the reasons is because my woman, who is a Harvard-trained behavior specialist, so she's obviously powerful, is so beautifully feminine with me. And one of the reasons I fell in love with her, one of the first things that happened, we were driving down the road, and I was yammering as usual in the car. And she said, do you think that's our exit coming up? Now, that's the exit to her house, and I knew where it was. And I looked at her and I said, wow, you're really good, aren't you? You know what you're doing. Now, she's not someone who's been to 1,000 workshops. She just intuitively understands that. She said in the beginning, I want to be the woman in our relationship. She goes, I was always the man in the relationship. I was the breadwinner. I was the one who did the bills. I was the one who took care of everything. And she said, I want to be the woman in this relationship. And I smiled and I said, deal. Thank you for telling me, by the way. Thank you for telling me. And I said, as long as we're together, you'll never touch a door. And so for 3.5 years, anytime we come to a door, I'm there, I open the door. And that's kind of the signal that she's allowing me to take that position in the relationship, and I love doing it. So communicate to your guys, like, what's important to you.
I love that. That's awesome. I love that. Matt, anything you want to add? This is sort of your, like, sweet spot, this femininity piece and polarity.
Yeah, I've worked a lot in polarity. I want to emphasize before I lose here, I'm so sorry. I'm sitting in this beautiful spot in the mountains.
Oh, Adam.
Very in touch with the feminine here. I want to emphasize your body and your breath. How you hold your body. Do you dance? Are you doing yoga? Do you find pleasure in your body? How does your body express pleasure? We can all do this in our heads and be very mental.
And he's out.
Expresses pleasure, men will fall in love with you.
I love that. Matt Boggs, Mr. Boggs, would you like to answer this question?
Well, yes, and one of the things I hope that you picked up on, Adam, thank you for sharing being single and then being now engaged. I did not know that. Congratulations, buddy. That's so fantastic. And how cool is it, the example that you're saying that you and your wife discussed what to expect from one another. The main source of relationship frustration is unmet expectations.
Right.
You have this hidden expectation, that isn't really spoken and doesn't get met, and then it's like, it creates angst. And so how cool it is that you guys discuss this, and who do I want to be? Because we're multifaceted, we're dynamic human beings, so who do I want to be in this relationship? You know what? I would love to be the woman, and you're saying, great, I'm going to be the man, I'm going to open up the doors to you. So I encourage the women who are listening to this, feel free to have those discussions with your man, because if there's one thing that frustrates men more than anything else is that we don't know what's going on in your mind.
That's true.
And we don't know what you want, and we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to deliver you happiness. So if you can help us by having these clear conversations about, hey, here's what I would love, here's who I want to be, let's discuss this. What would you love, and what do you want to be? So thanks for bringing that up, man. And I am going to challenge one point, though, around this whole intimidation thing. And that is that when you look at the most powerful people on the planet, the greatest leaders, I think this whole thing of men find me intimidating, I just want to challenge that whole idea and saying that it's not it's not their problem. This isn't a problem that men are having, because really powerful men and great men are not intimidated with a woman who's a very powerful, strong leader if she's a strong leader in an authentic way. And here's what I'm talking about. When you look at really powerful people like Bill Gates, or excuse me, sorry, Bill Clinton. I was thinking Bill Gates. We'll talk about him in a second. Bill Clinton, one of the most powerful people on the planet. When people are with Bill Clinton, I was talking to a friend of mine who hung out with him a few months back, and he was saying, it's amazing, man. This guy's one of the most powerful people on the planet, and yet when you're with him, something about him puts you at ease, and you feel like you're the only person on the planet. I had the privilege a few years back of meeting His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Think about how intimidating that might be. Another of the most powerful, influential people on the planet. So intimidating to meet this person who has such clout, such power. And yet, when I met the Dalai Lama, I felt at ease and I felt peace. And there was something about his energy and the way that he greeted me. He greeted me as if I was the most important person on the planet. And so I think that if you look at, what is the energy of intimidation? The energy of intimidation is a power gap. The energy of intimidation is I'm taking power. I'm looking to criticize something. I'm looking to be better than. So if you're getting feedback that you're intimidating, you want to look at how am I showing up in this energy state of I'm better than, I'm critical, I'm trying to take energy, rather than true leaders and true power is that I'm giving energy to other people. I'm looking to validate people. I'm so at my state that I'm looking that when everyone's around me, they're being drawn up rather than being pushed down. And I think if you focus on that, you're going to dissolve the whole intimidation thing right away.
I love this. Okay, so this is perfect. So this is sort of what I was talking about at the beginning, is that it's because you're wearing the boxing gloves that you're in that taking energy space. And that's why what we do at Ignite Your Life is the whole first day, we talk about revealing what your energy is. What energy are you putting out there? And for 90% of the women that we actually measure their masculine energy through an assessment that we do, the D factor, most of them have so much of that belief system that gives off an energetic that is taking away, that is quote-unquote repelling men, because it's not that warm, inviting, loving, nurturing feminine space. And the last thing I want to add about that is, and this is sort of what breaks my heart, because it broke my heart for myself, is I had so much of that, what I thought being powerful looked like, especially after my divorce. Because I was like the queen of codependent no more. So when I got divorced, I was going to be like this strong woman, and no man was going to screw with me, and I was going to get what I want. I'm not going to settle. And what I realized was that I was masking and building layers and layers and layers to protect this really hurt, scared, vulnerable woman that was terrified, And so what I encourage you to sort of question is a lot of that belief around power and control and strength serving you maybe in some areas of your life, but really you have this feminine, vulnerable, soft, nurturing side, but you're hiding it because you're scared. You don't want to get taken advantage of. You can't bear another heartache. Yeah. So that's really the piece for all of us that are powerful women. I'm going to introduce you to a couple here in a minute. And that's the work that we're going to do at Ignite Your Life. You can't intellectualize this piece. This is an experience in your body that we have to uncover. And all the work that I've ever done that has given me the biggest leap, not just a 10%, but 100%, a life change, has come from having an experience of this and letting go of those walls. And you guys can speak to this. When you let that guard down, it can be the most scary thing that you ever do as a woman. We've got a nodding head, so I'm going to get caught in here in a minute. It's terrifying. And yet, it's the edge. It's the next thing we need to do to attract the guy. And not only to attract the guy, ladies, but because that's our fullest expression of ourselves. So why are we're protecting ourselves from really being who we are? And so I know it's scary, but I'm asking you to really take the leap. So claim your bonus ticket while you're here so that you make your plan. All right, any other comments? I know Adam has to go off soon. Anything you want to say before we sign off with you, Adam?
Yeah, I just want to underline it's a mutual love club here. I want to underline something Matt said that was great, which was the difference between and Marnie, you're such a beautifully empowered person, and you're so full of love, and you're so present. So it's not intimidating. It would be intimidating for some guys, but it's not intentional. You're not trying to force yourself on people, your ego on people. So what I really want to say to the women, you know, if you're powerful, be powerful. Like, own that. But let's break down that notion of intimidation into intentional and non-intentional, and also controlling and not controlling. So, and it's a huge issue, and we can't do it now. But what you said, Marnie, about wanting to feel safe, it's so important. Obviously, with all the women I work with, they want to feel safe, and they're a little afraid of being vulnerable. And of course, you can never really connect with someone unless you are vulnerable. So these are deep, deep issues, not something to be handled in 5 minutes. And I'm glad you're doing this event, because these are really issues worth diving into, and any man worth you will be willing to dive in with you. That's what I want to say. Look for the guy who's willing to dive in with you.
I love that. Well, thank you, Adam, for being here. I love you. Give a hug to your amazing fiance, and we will see you very soon.
All right.
Yay,
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
And get a new profile picture. Just kidding.
I don't even know what it is. I don't know what it is.
All right, so let's get Colton up here. Come on, we got a special guest, ladies. Yay, in the dating den. We don't only have cute boys in the dating den, although we do have a cute boy in here now, Craig. May. First of all, I want to tell Matt, and I don't know if Adam's still here, but in the Dating Den Live, everything everyone's been saying, they're like, yeah, that's true, that's true. So I know at home you are like, yes, yes, yes. So I appreciate that. So hello, honey.
Hello.
So I am a really big fan of what I would call a moment of inspiration. Mm-hmm. Because when I met you about a year ago at Ignite Your Life, you are not the lovely woman in love that you are now. And so I invited you here on a Sunday to really help the women out there take a leap into what's possible and stand on the shoulders of you, knowing that you've done this work in the last year and you really started it by coming to the event. Mm-hmm. So of all the isms and problems that we've talked about, where were you a year ago? Like, it was November 2013. Who was Kalpana then?
So this time last year, I was a dating machine. I was going out on, 3 or 4 dates a week sometimes, and I thought I finally met a guy. That was it. I got to the point where I was like attracting guys. Some were quality, some were not. But I thought, this guy actually had potential.
Okay.
And then after the 3rd date, he disappeared. And I thought, oh my God, I thought I figured this out. And I obviously haven't. So I felt really, really lost. And I was trying so hard. And I felt like, I had a great career and, good education and everything, a great catch. People would come up to me and say, you're so pretty and this and that and successful, and why are you still single? And
how did that make you feel, by the way?
I wanted to shake them and say, I know. You can figure it out and help me, because that's the one part of my life I can't, solve right now. So I was really, really lost, and I felt like I tried so many different things, tried different programs, worked with different coaches, and I got an invite to Ignite Your Life. And I think I got it in November this year.
Okay.
Last year, sorry. And I think it was $200 or something like that. And I thought, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to figure it out on my own. And then December came, and it was the holidays, and I didn't want to see my family because they were all going to ask, why are you still single? Which is even worse when it's, your family, and every year you have to answer the same question. And so I think it was December, and the price went up, and I was just like, I have to figure this out. And I reread the Ignite Your Life invitation, and I was just like, you know what? Something in me was just like, you know what? give it a shot. And I think by then it was like $300, and I was like, damn it, I should have signed in right away. But I did in December, and then I went in January, and it was literally like such a great weekend because there were tangible tools and techniques that you shared with us that weekend. And it was one of those seminars that wasn't just like being taught at. It was like, you actually got exercises that you did there, which for me is really important because I'm such a procrastinator. I don't do my homework very well. And what was really, I had been in this space of like, okay, I'm going to focus on my love life. I'm going to find the man of my dreams. And in Ignite Your Life, there was an exercise we did where one of my limiting beliefs that came out was, I'm afraid of giving up my independence.
Were you surprised about that?
I was so surprised. I was just like, what? I thought I got rid of this like 3 years ago. What's going on? I'm ready to...
What were you afraid of? Like, what was going to happen if you got in a relationship? What was going to happen to your independence?
I thought that, I wouldn't be able to have the career I want.
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to make plans with my girlfriends whenever. I wouldn't be able to like just take off for the weekend to go to Europe, which, by the way, I don't really ever do that. Maybe I haven't done that in like, I don't think I've ever actually done that.
Now you can go with your boyfriend.
I know, right? So it was really bizarre because it was just like all these things, like my freedom, my independence, my ability to make my own choices and, direct my career, my life, and, could I just like pack up and move to a new city, which I have done a couple of times. So like all of that was kind of like weighing inside me, which was bizarre because I thought that was something I'd already
that you handled
up, a few years ago through therapy or whatever, and I hadn't. It was still there. So that was really like, wow, an aha moment. And then just hearing all the other like success stories of the women at Ignite Your Life. And then what was also really interesting was being around women that were in the same situation as I was, like all the successful, beautiful women in that room. And it just felt like this community of women like really looking for the tools and trying to figure out, what was stopping them.
And were you usually in a community like that? I mean, who are you usually hanging out with? Why was it so special to be in a community of women who were like wanting to do this in a different way?
I think when I'd done seminars in the past, it was always like, more about like business or self-development in life in general.
Okay.
And then there were one or two like understanding men type workshops, which I walked away from, and I finally understood like how guys think and why they do certain things. And I also like finally realized that men just want to make you happy.
Right.
But, as a woman, it's hard sometimes to be able to openly communicate. Like you were saying, like it makes you really vulnerable.
Right.
To like let down your barriers and say, okay, I actually need this. I just really want you to call me or text me every day because I miss your voice, And when I said that to my boyfriend, I was just like, ew, this little needy girl. And he was just like moved, and he was just like, oh, honey, I'll totally do that.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So you went to Ignite Your Life. You got it. You got your man. You're in a relationship.
Actually, I met him after
Ignite Your Life.
Yeah.
Come on, $97. How can you say no? Okay, so I love this part. This is like, if you knew then if you know now, did I ask that right? If you knew then what you know now, right? Like if you're talking to these platinum ladies and you did it, what would you tell them? What's like, look to the camera, like tell our peeps, what would you tell them about that?
Ignite Your Life. I would just say, listen to your heart. Really know if you want to give yourself this opportunity to find love, and like find also a life that you really love and you're proud of. Because what I really liked about Ignite Your Life, especially with the success stories, the women there like were just on fire. Like they loved their lives, they were glowing, they were happy. They were just oozing like positivity. And for me, I was just like, I'm tired of being confused. I'm tired of not knowing. And I'm tired of making the same mistakes over and over again. And so like, give yourself that gift. Like, I was just like, you know, I've invested so much money in my education and career and, you know, buying new clothes and cars and this and that. And it's like, you know what? Like, I deserve this. Like, I deserve an amazing man in my life. And, you know, I just need to understand how to get there. And so, you know, give yourself that opportunity. Give yourself that gift. Do it for yourself. Like, and as an act of self-love.
I love that. And you know what's really cool? I always think about this. There's a guy. So there's Mike. He was out there on the planet Earth going, where's my girl? Where's my girl? And Kalpana allowed herself to be found with this gorgeous smile. I'm going to look and see if is there a picture of you in this book?
I don't know if I've even ever told you this, but he reached out to me a year ago.
Yep. Really?
On Match. So, like, in February of 2013, he emailed me on Match.com, and I never responded to him. And then he emailed me again at the end of 2013, December 2013, and it took me like 3 or 4 weeks to respond to him. I was on vacation. I wasn't playing hard to get. And then it was literally like after Ignite Your Life that I started to like email him more consistently. And yeah, like I basically shut him out for like the very first time he emailed me. So
that's
because I guess
amazing.
I was so closed off, I didn't even realize.
You didn't realize. You know, I didn't know that story. And we have another woman, Rajeshri, who came to Ignite Your Life. Same thing. This guy started emailing her in like November, December. She was totally blowing him off. She came to the event. She was like, woke up to her life because it was ignited. And she emailed him back, and like they're married. So this is, you know, it's not smoke and mirrors so much. This is the real deal. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm so glad that you came.
Thank you.
I bet you crawled out of bed from Mike to be here, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. She
Yes.
did this an act of service. It really, really is. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate
Thank you.
that. Woo! Give it. Let's have like a little. Yay! Woo-hoo. We do the sweet tea dance here too. All right. So let's see, Mr. Boggs. Well, we get another question queued up. Any comments, questions, thoughts about Kalpana and her beautifulness?
First of all, I just want to say I love her energy, loved that story, the willingness to be vulnerable and to share her journey and her story. And what I find just to be so fascinating, and none of us are outside this circle of growth, just to be clear. You know, and that's one of the things I commented on yesterday or the other day when we were filming our He Said, She Said call, I was talking about Marnie and how one of the things I love about you, Marnie, is your willingness to lead by example, and that you're asking other people to grow in the green edges of their own life, the areas that are scary. You know, it's like there's this quote that says, everything we've always wanted is just on the other side of that comfort zone. And it's that fear barrier, you know. And you do such a good job of this in your own business, in your own life, leading by example, challenging that fear barrier and growing. And so when we do that, when we look at the areas that, okay, this is what I want to shift, when you start to explore that, inevitably the things that you can shift, change, or grow end up revealing themselves to you. And so I love that she said, wow, I wanted to attract the love of my life. I show it to Ignite Your Life. And instantly there, I get the idea that, wow, I'm still dealing with what it would mean to give up my freedom and my independence. And that I thought I don't know if you caught this line, but I thought I did that work 3 years ago. I thought it was done. I thought it was resolved. And the one universal truth is, if we don't have the result we want in our life, the work's not done.
Right. Hello.
Like we don't know about it. Obviously, something isn't resolved if you're not experiencing the physicalization, the manifestation, the actual you can touch and feel and kiss and hug on your man. If that's not your experience, there's some work to be done around that, you know. And so what I loved about that is just coming face to face with, what does it mean? Your question was brilliant. What would it cost you? What did it mean? What would happen if you actually gave up your freedom? What would you lose? And so many of the things that she said, I would imagine, ended up not being true.
Right.
Not happening. Like, you didn't have to give up the freedoms that were most important to you, your nights out with your girlfriends. I'm sure your man would be like, great, have a good time with your girlfriend. I'm going to hang with my boys, you know? Or at least you're attracting a kind of man. This is a big one, especially for women who get the I'm intimidating, or who get the I'm very successful. Is I don't want to give up my cute apartment furniture, you know? I don't want to give up the ability to go and take a summer in Europe and these kinds of things. And so it's important that you really challenge those beliefs and state, if I attracted the relationship, would it mean that I have to give these things up? Or what if I attracted a guy who actually challenged me, who I experienced more freedom? I actually got more freedom and more adventure because he was in my life. That he actually encouraged me to get out. He was the one who finally said, I love how she said, take the summer in Europe. I don't know how many of us have had that. Like, I love my job because I can take a summer in Europe. How many of us have actually done that, right? What if he was the one who actually said, no, honey, we're putting it on the calendar. Next summer, this is it. We're going. And it's like, wow, because of this relationship, my life is more free and more rich. And that's really what it's meant to be. Our lives are supposed to be enriched because of the relationships we're in, not hindered. So make sure that the vision that you're creating and the guy that you're attracting falls within that vision that you have for your life, because it's completely up to you what kind of vision that you're choosing for yourself. And you can absolutely choose a guy that expands the areas that are most important to you.
I love that, and that's one of the things, you know, we're going to look at in the 5 Keys course is really looking at who are you looking for? Like, really, who are you looking for? All right, Mai, any other questions we got from, or comments from our chatty big chatters?
So behind.
Oh my gosh, okay, let's go.
Okay, so we can circle back to that later. One person is specifically asking if the D Factor will be part of the IYL live experience.
No.
But
let me tell you.
Yes.
Let me tell you. Very soon, actually, I think the week of, I want to say the week of the 10th or 11th, I'm actually going to be putting out a free coaching training video. That's going to actually take you through a process, and we're going to make it give you a really good opportunity to take the D Factor, and actually it will be at a great price, and you're going to take the D Factor with one of our coaches, and they're going to help you unpack it so that when you get to Ignite Your Life and your butt's in the chair and you start to do the work about, like, what are my beliefs, you're not like, I wonder what it is that I don't know. You will actually have worked on that with your coach. So if you look in your inbox for that opportunity, we know what we're doing, and so we're setting it up for you to get the maximum investment. For those of you who don't take the D Factor, you're going to be fine too, because we actually ask you a lot of pointed questions, and we use some really cool tools that nobody else uses to help you start to hone in on some of those. So yeah, D Factor opportunities are coming. I love that question.
Here's one I think maybe Matt wants to answer.
Okay.
Based on femininity. Cindy says, I'm perceived as feminine, soft, kind, sweet, fun, flirty, all the great things, but doesn't seem to attract good men. How do I keep the softness that's so me, but be more than just a great girl and be more girlfriend material?
So is she like the nice girl?
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It sounds like, Cindy, it sounds like that to me. One of the things that inevitably men find very sexy is what we call standards. And so just being nice and sweet, sometimes the nice and sweet energy caves in on boundaries and caves in on things that you would really like to do, or really not like to do, or whatever the case may be, because you're yielding to what he wants. And having standards and having boundaries is very, very not only feminine, but very, very sexy to men, because what it's showing us is it's giving us something that we can do to earn your favor, and we value what we earn. So notice in yourself, where do I go along with it because I don't want to rock the boat, and I don't want to make him mad, and I don't want to upset him? Where am I going along with things that I wouldn't normally go along with because I want to please him? And those are the areas that you want to stand firm. And saying no is one of the most feminine things you can say. One of the most sexy 4-letter words that exists is WANT, which is want. I really want this over here, and then you're giving him your blueprint to deliver you happiness. So those are the areas to look at. Where are the areas where I'm actually giving in on things that I'm uncomfortable with, and those really should be my boundaries. Put up those boundaries, and you will become girlfriend material.
I love that. At Dating with Dignity, I call it cool girl mentality. Now, of course, there was this great book that was written called The Gone Girl, right? And now there's a movie, and now they're like talking about the cool girl. Okay, well, I came up with it first. But that's it. It's like, I'm going to bend into a pretzel. I'm going to be so cool, and I'm going to make you so happy, and I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt all the time. And what I notice what happens, and I don't know if this is true for you, Cindy, when we're so nice and we put everyone else's needs first, and we're fun and we're flirty and we're all about them, we get underneath the surface. We're thinking that we're a person who's just, I'll just put it aside. It's okay. I'm cool. It starts to build an edge underneath that can leak, And so here you are, you're like being the nice girl. But there could be this little leaking edge that is putting off some sort of thing like pissed because you're being so nice and he's not asking you out, right? And it can leak. And we talk about leaking a lot at Dating with Dignity. And we need to find out exactly what we are leaking, because it's like going in to do surgery and like just poking around in an organ. Versus going, it's this valve and this thing, and I need to do a laser adjustment right here, and I can make a really tiny incision. That's Ignite Your Life. Or you can continue to like, and poke around, So the invitation is great. I love that you know the pattern, right? You know the pattern. So let's take a deeper look. And so start to ask yourself some of these questions that Matt raised, that I raised, and let's hone in on it so we can really, really laser in and give you a solution. Because sometimes it's just like a 2% adjustment that completely takes you to the right destination. It's like your GPS, Like you could go the way and there's traffic, or you could just turn on the GPS and take like some back roads and it's like a little bit off and you get there in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. My mom would always say, a 2-degree shift in the right direction 10 miles down the road gets you to a whole different place.
And his mom is Mary Morrissey, by the way.
What?
Yeah.
I heard someone say, what?
My mom always says, I'm like, your mom is real, like she's not just a wise mama. She's like a super wise mama.
It's my mom. It's the mom.
I quote your mom. I'm like, my friend Matt's mom always says, it's not this, something better. I would have loved to be like in high school at Matt's house after the party. Like, what did Mary say besides, can I get you some more macaroni?
Well, I can tell you, I joke around with people. One of the things I hear a lot of people who get into personal development and they start reading and their minds are expanded to, wow, I can create what it is that I want. I'm actually a center of my own results that I'm getting. And you say, what was the first personal development moment you had? Like, can you remember the first book you read or the first seminar you went to where it just changed your life? And I asked this in Washington, D.C. We were at an event with 500 people, and I would say 80% of the hands went up. Like, they knew the book or they knew the event. And I said, well, I am with you because my first moment of personal development, I was 5 years old in the Mary Morrissey house. And my sister, I don't know what kind of generation we have watching here, but when I was growing up, He-Man was the toy of choice. And we had He-Man, we had Castle Grayskull, we had all these great toys. So I had my He-Man toys. And my sister, who's older than me, was putting dresses. She was teasing me, right? And she was putting dresses on my muscle. These He-Man were like totally muscled out, right? And she was like making them dance together and making them kiss and whatnot. And I was just utterly frustrated that my He-Men were kissing each other. And I was a little super blonde head, what do they call it, toe-headed kid. And I ran into the library. My mom's in there, and I said, Mom. And my sister's name is Jennifer. And I said, Jennifer's making me so mad. And I went on to explain what was happening, and she paused me right there, and she said, little Matthew, nobody has the power to make you feel anything. You get to choose how you want to feel. And I remember thinking, what the hell is she talking about? But at the same time, like something in it clicked, and I went back to the room, and I realized that that the way I could get back at her was to not let her make me mad. And so I was like, no, go ahead, play with them. Put dresses on them, let them kiss. And that was my first little personal development moment where I began to take charge of my own experience.
I love that. Well, so in my house, the kids are like, don't tell us that thing about nobody can make us feel that way. So my children have 20 years from now will be telling their own stories. I love that. And so will you. Okay, so any other questions coming in here?
We'll have some comments.
Okay, great.
Cindy just says, and Matt, I think Matt can see this, but Marnie, you can't. She said, how do you do that, Marnie and Matt? Just for my written word, you hone right in on who I am and what I need to adjust it. That's really nice.
We're in on it. Come to Ignite Your Life. $97 actually that you get back. And if you don't get that question answered, you can have. I'll give you $97.
And Vanessa says she's really looking forward to IYL in January, and she's ready.
Woohoo!
Everyone said that you looked beautiful on camera, and that someone.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
What?
That's saying thank you.
Welcome, Matt. Vanessa says she totally relates to your story. People can't understand why she's still single, so she's looking forward to all the tools and exercises and awesome speakers at IYL in January, which is Matt.
Yeah, yep.
Let's see. And then Cindy, who said you guys got her spot on, said, totally, Matt, the fear barrier is scary. I found that if you challenge, it's never as scary as we perceive that it will be. So that's cool.
Absolutely.
And then someone said, or Cindy actually said, isn't it interesting how we thought Mr. Right wants us to keep our freedom but keep space in our lives for him? Don't give up those parts of ourselves that we're afraid will turn the guy off.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome, Cindy. Thank you. Thank you for that.
And yeah, I can get some more regular questions. Everyone's just talking about IYL.
I know, right? Because you got to come to IYL. Okay. Do you guys, by the way, do you guys love the theme song in the summit? Da-da-da-da-love, da-da-da-da-love. Matt Blogg's wife wrote that and sings it, right? I'm in love now. I can't sing, as you know, if you came to Ignite Your Life last year. All right, let's do one more question, and then I got to get Stacy Speaker, who's rocking the cleavage. Can't wait for you to meet Stacy. So what's another question?
This is a pertinent one that people find when they're dating people. When is the right time to bring up the topic of where your relationship is going? Is there a way to encourage him to broach the topic first? And is there a certain amount of dates or number of dates that you should wait to talk about that?
I love this question, and I hope that Matt tells a story about Irene and her handling of this issue. I feel like I know your whole life. I feel like I've been with Matt and Irene like every day, and I know about the Wiener Schnitzel conversation with the hot dog and the whole thing about hangry. But here's the thing. One of the things that we don't own when we're single is that we actually want a relationship. We're like, oh, if the right guy came along, or I'm looking, and whatever. But we do that coping thing, right? And we don't put it out into the world, and so. When we're dating, we're ashamed that we want a relationship. And it's so counterintuitive, really, to what actually you really want. Is we're hiding. We don't want to let him know that we want a relationship. We don't want to scare him. We don't want to push him away. But when you look at it, think how silly that is, right? Because you're saying this is what I want. If a guy is scared away because he wants what you want, isn't that a blessing? Right, so one of the things we need to uncover is let go of any shame around wanting and a relationship. Here's the thing, I want to tell you this. None of us need it. We are all kick-ass, independent women. We can take out our own trash and put furniture together. And if we can't, we can hire someone to do it. I used to call my handyman my rent-a-husband. I'd be like, honey, can you, right? So we don't need a man. So I want you first to step into are you comfortable saying, like, I want a relationship? That's phase one. Then phase two is learning how and when to communicate that to the guys that you're dating. And my philosophy is you don't want to say it on like the first date, but you want to make it really clear that you are in a place in my life where I'm ready for a relationship. Now I want you to be really clear. I'm not saying you're sitting at dinner and you're like, so, are you looking for a relationship? Me? 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 Right? No. It's the process of what we call data dating. You're like collecting information. Where are you in your life? Are you in a place where you're looking for a long-term relationship? Now, I don't think I've ever really said this, and maybe Matt will agree or disagree. I don't know, but if he says at any time, I'm totally open. I mean, if the right girl came along, sure, I suppose I'd be down. I don't buy it. I feel like a guy who's really intentional, like Adam said, a man of choice, is like, yes, I came online because I'm in a place in my life where I would love to have a family, or my kids are grown and I would love to, or I would love to remarry so that I can have a family with that person and my kids, and so that they can understand that marriage and long-term relationship can work even though me and my wife got a divorce. Whatever it is, they're owning it. So it's really important that you have that language, and most important, really, you're comfortable with it. Because if you're saying it like, I don't want to hear what he says, that's not sexy. Matt, what do you think about this?
You know what's funny is what you said, you're not buying it. That's exactly what I said to Irene. Which was because I was at this pivotal moment where I could have gone either way. I was actually having a lot of fun dating, but deep down I've always wanted to find the right one, fall in love, get married. That was one of my life goals. And so I love your phrasing on this. I completely agree with that. I'm at a place in my life where I'm ready for a phenomenal relationship. Like, that is sexy, because it's not saying I want you to be that man. It's just you're claiming your vision. You're claiming where you're going. And he's either going to step in and measure up to that, or he's not. But it's very clear. You know, clarity is power. And we love powerful women. Just powerful people are attractive in general. So when you're clear about what you want and your intentions, that's very sexy. And then let him decide for himself to either fall away from your life or step in and get closer. Because your story of, it was our first date, my wife and I, we went to Tuna Town for our first date, this sushi place. And later on I said, I can't believe I'm going to be telling people I took you to Tuna Town on our first date. but we did. So we had sushi on the way back. I met her someplace, we got in her car, and then we drove to Huntington Beach, which is where this restaurant was. And so she's driving me back to my car. We're in the parking lot, sitting in her car talking, and I asked her, we're just talking about life and all kinds of stuff, and she brought this up, and that's exactly the verbiage she said, Marnie, was, I'm at a place in my life where I'm done dating, I'm done hanging out with casual guys, and I'm looking for something serious. The word she used was serious. I don't really like that word, serious, because serious is serious, but I'm looking for, a deep, meaningful relationship. And so I'm looking at her, and she said at this moment she was actually trying to scare me off. She didn't know if I was a great guy or not. We had gone out one time, and it's about actions. She didn't have enough actions backing this up. And so I hadn't decided for myself what I was going to be about in that relationship with her. And I didn't know what kind of woman she was. I didn't know if we were going to go home and hook up that night. I was kind of hoping we would. But she made it very clear. She wouldn't even I tried to kiss her on the first date. She wouldn't even kiss me. But she made it very clear, like, I'm not just a casual hookup. Like, this is what I'm creating. So instantly what happened for me, and all men do this, is we put you in a category of, okay, this woman is going to be wife material. If I'm going to pursue it, it's because I'm looking for wife. And there's an inherent risk of that. If he's not at a place in his life where he's even open to considering that, he's going to respect that. Some men do it unskillfully by disappearing. But
Right.
at least he doesn't. Most guys will respect that and say, okay, you're going to be wife material. I'll let you be wife material with someone else because I just want to play and have fun. You want guys who are going to bail to bail. You want them to bail early. So for me, that was the catalyst, actually. It called me into husbandhood. It called me into that category. I said, okay, all right, well, and I didn't want to seem like too eager. So I was like, if the right girl came along, maybe I'd be up for that too. But the important thing, and you've mentioned this, Marnie, is that you want to look at his, that kind of phrase is a yellow flag. It's not a red flag. It's a yellow flag. And you want to see, do his actions back it up?
Right.
Is he stepping into that? And if his actions are backing it up, then definitely move it forward. So when do you bring this up? There's two, what I love about dating is there's like natural times when this stuff comes up. You can do it on the first date if you want, you can do that, but naturally it comes up. Let me back up one step and say, assume that you're both dating other people.
Right.
Just make that assumption. Assume that he's dating other people, okay? And so if you really are dating other people, which I hope you are, I hope you're dating a lot, when you meet the special guy, don't cut everybody else off. And there's a reason for that is, number one, you keep your energy and your dating momentum going. Number two is you're in a state of high desirability, and that just radiates out. Number three is there's two things that will happen. Number one, if your man wants to get physical with you, that's a perfect moment to bring up the, well, what are we conversation. If he wants to get down and dirty with you. Because in the things that I teach, and Marnie, you can either agree or disagree with this, but I'm saying don't sleep with your man until you've got a commitment.
Oh, no, I'm all about the contract.
Yeah. So if he's trying to get down and dirty with you, you can say, whoa, 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 whoa. Well, I don't even know where this is going, and I don't sleep with anybody who I'm not in a committed relationship with. So that's one natural moment when you can bring it up. The other natural moment is when somebody else wants to be exclusive with you. And you can say, I've got this other guy asking me out and wanting more time, but I'm really enjoying my time with you, and I'm just wondering where you see this going. Do you want to, be dating lots of other people, which, I'm okay with, or do you want to move forward with me? And that's a great opportunity because that ignites natural competition. And we do not, the one thing that men hate more than anything else is to visualize their woman with some other guy. Oh, it just gives us the heebie-jeebies, like we can't handle it. So if you're like, hey, I've got this other guy asking me out and he's really wanting to kind of move things along, then he's going to be like, well, wait a minute, I thought we were hanging out, And so it helps to put it in perspective that you're not just going to wait forever for this guy, that other guys are after you.
I love that. Yes. Yes. I could share a million stories. So that was great. That's some very specific language. And again, this is my theme at Dating with Dignity. I could tell you all the tips and all the scripts. And the problem is, if you don't feel it in your soul because you are this confident, authentic woman, it's lost. It's lost in translation. We get scared. We break down. We say the wrong. It comes out the wrong way. In fact, one of the ladies in one of our coaching groups, she was dating this guy for a couple of months, and he said, I'm at a place where I don't think I can give you what I want. And she was like, well, okay. And he said, but, I'd like to keep in touch. And so, she thought about it, and he reached out, like, to check on her, and she was like, you sort of made your decision. I'm moving on. And he was like, oh, I guarantee you he will be back. So let's meet Stacy Speaker, who is rocking the LBD, as Kim Seltzer would call it. Woohoo!
Hello.
Hello. Look at you, girl. Are you in this book? I wanted to show like this before pictures.
I don't know, because I sat in the back.
You sat in the. You're so funny. That's part of your story.
Totally resistant. Wow, look at those.
I know, right? She's like, is this?
Back up.
She's like, is this first date dress? And I'm like, hell yeah.
Wow.
It's all about the bass, about the bass.
I like that song.
I know, right? I love it. Okay. So I invited you here, and you and both of you, you're like, this is Sunday morning. It's like an act of service, and both of you have always been like, I will show up because you're like me. I don't want anyone out there to suffer one day longer than you need to.
Absolutely.
Because we have all suffered, and we take action. We make a decision. So I know that you were sort of like, ignite your life, stop sending me emails about it. Why you got to keep asking me to make a decision? So what was going on for you?
Well, I live in LA, so I'm in the area, and as you said, you know, you get the emails, and I thought, okay, it's $100. Go for a weekend. Why not? Let's just go. It's literally down the street. So I like weekend seminars. I am a junkie of weekend seminars. I've taken some amazing weekends, and then the weekend is over and you get back into your life, and you know, time passes, and the next thing you know, a year later you're in the same exact spot. So I thought, okay, we'll just go and do this. And I was in the back the whole time. I was not dancing to the Katy Perry song. I was completely resistant to the whole entire thing until Sunday.
Wait, before you go to Sunday, what was the pain that brought you there? Like, what was going on in your life, in your dating life, in your whole life? Was it on fire, or was it?
I was dating.
Okay.
But what I was dating was very feminine men.
Okay.
I couldn't figure out why. Why am I getting all of these feminine men? You know.
What do you mean by feminine? Like, what were their behaviors that were saying this isn't a match for me?
Yeah, it was very passive in the beginning. Whatever you want to do is great with me. Whatever restaurant you want to go to is really great. And in the beginning, that was awesome, right?
Right.
Because as we've, you know, all discovered, we're strong, independent women,
right?
Career-oriented. You know, these are the women that we're hanging out with. And about 2 months in, I started to get bored. And I couldn't figure out why I was getting bored. And then, as you were saying earlier, leaking. I was leaking this, like, really? Can't you just effing pick a place to go?
Right.
Why do I have to, you know?
Yeah.
So then I got bored, and then I ended the relationship. So I was in this pattern, and I couldn't figure out why I'm in this pattern.
Okay.
Where's the man who's going to, you know, pick me up and throw me against the wall and be like, all right, this is where we're going. Like, where's that guy?
Right.
Where's that guy?
So when you were laying in bed at night after, you know, that relationship ended and it was like the next in the series up, like, what were the thoughts that were going through your head?
Scared. Afraid.
Of what?
I didn't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. All of my girlfriends are married and or in very serious relationships. My parents are going on almost 48 years of marriage. So I've got all these really great examples around me, but I couldn't figure out why is it that I'm by myself, and I don't want to be by myself. And it's a moment that you have it, you know, you wake up at 3:30 in the morning on a Sunday morning and you're completely alone. I mean, you're in a great apartment,
right?
You have everything physically around you, but when you realize that you're literally by yourself in a queen-size bed, that sucks.
That does suck. Ladies, I know you're going like this. Cobbin is, or everybody here is going like, yeah, that flippin' sucks. So, and you know what I want to just acknowledge you for saying like that it's scary. Because I think it takes a lot of bravery to be like, it is a scared.
It is.
Scary place.
It's frightening.
Yeah.
It's frightening. And then you think, what's wrong with me? Why do all my friends have somebody? But when you really get into it, I think one of the things that I've learned working with you is they're in a relationship, but they're not in the relationship with themselves. They're just in a relationship because
it landed.
It landed, exactly. So these women that I love and adore aren't necessarily super happy in their married life because they don't know what it's like to be themselves, in love with themselves.
Wow, that's amazing. So this is a teaching point, because when we say like I want a relationship, and maybe some of you are writing affirmations, I want a relationship, I want to, easily attract a relationship. Make sure you put in good, or like
excellent,
intimate, like
amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's we talk to women who are in relationships and feel very alone too. So okay, so this is great. So first of all, you were in this place, you were feeling alone, you're like, what's wrong with me? You decided, what the heck?
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw $97, go to Ignite Your Life, and then you were sitting in the back row. By the way, in my former life, I was like, I'm not doing no dancing, you know. And I'm like, what's wrong with these girls?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I feel you.
Yeah, yeah. So Sunday came and we got to see Matt. Matt came and, you know, was Mattness. The whole room was amazing. And he really, it spoke to me. Matt coming and talking to us, and everything he's telling you, ladies, it's the God's truth. Everything Marnie's telling you, it's the God's truth. And Sunday there was a question that was asked. And the question that was asked was, where do you see yourself a year from now? Like, where you are, is that where you are right now, is that where you want to be? And I instantly knew, no, I don't want to be in this exact same spot. And from that moment on, I was in. Whatever work it took, whatever homework you gave us, whatever dancing I had to do, I was going to do it. I didn't want to be. And can I tell now, fast forward?
Yeah, fast forward. So what's your life like now besides you are rocking in the LVD?
Yes. So I figured out the reason why I had all of these feminine men was because I was being masculine. I was so masculine in my profile, in the way I dated, I pursued, I was doing everything because I didn't want to wait. I wasn't being in the feminine and waiting for the man to pursue me.
Okay.
Now, wow.
Yeah, so what's your dating life like now?
Okay, super fun. Super fun. I am attracting more high-quality men than I ever have in my life, so much so that at the very end of my profile, I tell this amazing story that I've crafted for a very long time. But at the very end, I said, if you can see yourself as the lead in my story, why don't you give me a call? I got a text message from a guy who said, where do I go to be the lead in your story? And I was like,
I love that.
This really works. So, so yeah, I said, well, you just got to come over to the West Side. And he said I would go anywhere to meet you.
Oh my. Okay, wait.
So
But let's let that sink in.
Yeah.
And that wasn't happening before.
Especially in LA traffic, like you to drive.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, if you don't live here, you don't get it. But
right, absolutely.
That's true. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're feeling popular. You are obviously in your feminine, feeling sexy. And you have ignited your life in your career.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you've like made some bold leaps there.
I have, wow. So what I've done is I am now, wow, can I say this?
Yeah, of course, because
Okay.
because I'm going to tell you why. This is really important.
Okay.
It speaks to what, Adam, we were talking about at the very beginning,
Yep.
is that we have to have passion about what it is that we're doing in the world. And so you can't fake it.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
go ahead. So what are you doing?
So one of the things that I've learned through the work that we've done through Ignite Your Life and then the program Beyond is communication. Communication is so big for me. It is my number one value. It's what I want in a relationship with anybody, whether it's my girlfriends, my family, and or my future husband, is communication. So by sitting in that and realizing that, I want to actually I am becoming a consultant that teaches people how to communicate better within their environments, to teach each other skills so we can communicate at such a level that we're not angry or fearful or scared anymore, and we can actually speak into the positive, like, hey, this is what I want, and are you on board, and let's do it together.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to pass it on.
Yes,
Pay it forward.
absolutely. It's work that's important.
I love it. And obviously you figured out how to communicate in your profile.
I did. It wasn't easy, ladies. It wasn't easy. But you work on it, and you have the expertise around you. You have access to Marnie and a whole of her wisdom, and you have access to Matt, who's very prolific and helps, from the guy's perspective, because the women, we get so in our own heads, right? Because that's who you call, right? Is your girlfriend. Why didn't he call me? And she's like, well, I don't know, because you're amazing. Well,
that's not helpful.
That's not helpful. That's not helpful at all. So
if you were going to tell them, like, if you helped me before,
Yeah.
if you knew then what you know now, and they're like, I don't know, I have to go to LA, it's a big expense, and I'm not a joiner, I'm not a dancer, what would you tell them?
it's a new year. It's a new year. You can take it on and be powerful and know that changes will happen. you don't even have to immerse yourself into the work. Just going, and I think Matt said this earlier, the moment, and you say it too, is the moment you put out that in the universe that you want to change and you want to be better and you want to get to that next level, whatever that level is. Maybe it's just being a really good dater,
right?
Or finding your husband. Whatever it is, just do it. It's so worth the $100 that you have to pay, that you get anyway.
You get back, right?
You get to be in LA for 3 days. You get to be around these amazing women. The energy in the room is through the roof. I can't even, if you could bottle it,
right?
And pass it and take it and do a sniff, every once in a while, because life happens. It happens, and it passes. Life passes you by. So why not take the opportunity? I promise it will change your life. It will. It will.
So nice.
Absolutely. It's true.
Oh,
it's true.
I love it. Okay, so you've been hearing all these questions, and so do you have a tip? Like, if you were going to give a tip, like, I'm out there, I'm doing it, I'm popular online, like, what's the one tip that you would give them?
I think the one tip is that you're enough. You're good enough, and you deserve the very best. You deserve to be popular. You deserve to have everything it is that you want in a partner that you want to share your life with.
That is so true. And it seems so far away in the moment when we're laying in bed at night.
Oh, and it's still, and the thing is that it still comes up. It's not like I fixed it and now I can move on. It's just like Kalpana said, I thought I fixed that 3 years ago. It comes up. It's new level, new devil. Right? But you get the tools and you get the experience and you get the support of the community to say, what does this mean when you get this particular text message?
Right.
How do I deal with this? And the tools that you learn and you get to be with really take you forward, and you're like, oh, I can do this now. I'm not stuck.
I love that. So it's an unsticking.
It's an unsticking. Yes, peel the Velcro.
I'm Axle Grease for women. I don't even know if that's. I don't know if it's Axle Grease.
So you're the WD-40.
I'm WD-40. Thank you. Thanks for squeaky door. And now you're like,
Bonnie, I'm going to get you a T-shirt. I'm going to get you a T-shirt now that says "I'm Axle Grease."
That would be great.
I love that. I love that. Matt, anything you want to say before we go on to? I don't even know how much time we have left. Awesome. We have time to ask more questions. Matt, anything else you want to add?
Just to say, Stacy, you rock. You absolutely rock. Good on you to get outside of that comfort zone, to come to challenge yourself, to stand in. I getting to speak a lot. I get to see the back row of a lot of audiences, and they're usually like arms folded. And they say, I'm here to change my life, but all right, inspire me. They're all. And so just good for you to be willing to entertain some questions. And I love that question you asked is, a year from now, what is my life going to be like? And because there's one of my mentors, and my mom is a person who's helped us a lot. His name is Bob Proctor.
Love
he
him.
says that when, a rut is a grave with the ends kicked out.
Wow, that's deep.
Good. Yeah.
Being in a rut, it's like, and my mom will say it this way, that most people, instead of living 70 years, they live 1 year 70 times. And that's when you were saying, God, I do not want to be in this same place a year from now. What can I do to change my life, to shift things for me? And you have done that, and you invested in yourself. So I just want to say good work, because that's for the bold, and that's for the brave, and that's you. And so I just want to celebrate you in this moment and say excellent, excellent job.
Yay! Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You need to go out now.
Everyone's writing, Stacey, you look so hot.
Thank you.
And Cindy said, Stacey, you gave me chills about knowing without a doubt that where you are now is not where you want to be in 1 year.
No, that's so awesome.
Thank you.
I love that. Thank you, honey.
Come, ladies. We'll see you.
I know. She'll be there.
I'll be there in January.
Yeah.
So come on down.
Woo-hoo. It's going to be a party.
It will be.
It is. I have my book. One of my clients who came to Ignite Your Life was so moved by her experience. I keep opening it, but I don't know, Matt, has this ever happened to your mom? Probably, because she's a guru. But somebody actually took their time and they took all the pictures from the event and it inspired her so much that she made a scrapbook of her moments. And this is Stephanie right here. I don't know if you can zoom in on Stephanie. But she came to Nightlife. She was a front row girl. And she's also in a relationship right now. So how cool is that? I mean, she took her own time and her own money, and she gave me this memory
It's a
book.
great book.
Isn't that incredible? Of all these, so you could see, ladies, this is like, it's fun. It's fun. Okay, I used to teach nursery school. Exactly. Friends. Okay. All right, Maya. What other questions do we have?
Let's see, I'm gonna get you guys a good one.
You want to join us on camera?
Maya, just come on camera.
Come on, Maya. All right.
Oh, Maya.
Even when Matt with the beard asked me to be on camera, I still no.
Oh, we hear this mysterious feminine voice coming from the couches of the abyss.
It's gonna be like, you know, on the Ricky Gervais podcast. You know, Carl Pilkington started out as the voice behind, and then he became the star. So she's my Carl, except her name is Maya, and she doesn't have an orange-shaped head.
Okay, this is a really good question. I think a lot of people
Okay.
will relate to this. Lenore says, I see a pattern where men initially come on strong, and then just when I start to let my guard down a bit and relax, they seem to pull away. Why does this happen, and what can I do?
I'm sighing because that's one of the biggest limiting beliefs we have. If I let him know I like him, he's going to leave. And I want to reiterate something that Matt said earlier in the last question. First of all, like, let's just imagine, for the sake of argument, that you let your guard down and you communicate in a way that's appropriate, that's feminine, that's healthy. Because I don't know that. If how you're letting your guard down is you're being more open, or you're like, I want to have your babies. I don't know. I don't know what you're saying. But let's just say you do it in this right way and it's at the right time, and he pulls away. It's a moment. It's an opportunity. There's a great speaker that spoke this week, and it's on the agenda for Matt and I to talk about it, and he said, she said, and it's this idea about compatibility, right? So if a guy pulls away, I have a client who's doing this right now. She's experiencing him as pulling away. So she checked in, right? Like, I'm feeling that when we're together, I'm not feeling you present, and I'm feeling like you used to text me more often, and my experience is that it's like there's something going on. Period. Like, she shut up, and he shared, and he said, I am so sorry and sad that you're experiencing that. It's not my intention. I'm working on some pretty deep personal stuff myself because I want to be a better man for you, and I think I'm distracted by that work. And so what can I do? And she was like, well, I would like you to text me before bed. Right? It was a conversation. So it's an opportunity to see how can you get back to compatibility. And if he's down, and if he's a man of choice, as Adam's calling it, he's with you, like Matt said, he wants to know how to make you happy. So notice the words that I used. I didn't say, you're making me feel mad because, you know, you disappeared, or why are you disappearing, or why are you pulling back? It's like, my experience of you is this. And for the other piece, for her, this is up against her own edge. She's like, wow, I think I'm a little needy. And he's being appropriate, and I need to get a life. You know, like, I need to start really engaging back in my writing group. I need to, you know, whatever it is. So it's an opportunity, which is the really most important piece. So now, if you're just dating and a guy pulls away and he disappears, then what Matt was saying is, you know, let him go, because he's not your guy. So Matt, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, and just to also say that it sucks, man. You know, that it sucks that there are some situations and experiences that we go through that aren't without challenge and aren't without pain, and at the same time, that's part of why the reward is so great.
Mm-hmm.
And so preparing yourself for knowing that sometimes it will work out and sometimes it won't. And you go after a dream, you go after these things, sometimes knowing that there's going to be situations that it doesn't always go right. I was looking for quotes, and I ran across, this is going to be such a masculine quote for everybody, so bear with me on this one, but it was a Michael Jordan quote. And he said that, he goes, I've lost 1,255 games in my career. I was entrusted 57 times to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I failed here, I failed there, and I failed over and over again, and it's because I failed, that's why I succeed. And so the whole point is, yeah, it's not going to work out every time. And so your whole objective in the beginning is to know, when it doesn't work out, am I placing my source of love in that guy?
Yeah.
And so do I go to, and if you do, the sense that you'll get is when he pulls away is this panic and this scarcity. Like, oh my God, I'm losing love in my life. I'm losing love. And it's one of the most challenging things is to know the truth in the presence of facts. What that means is, is to know that you have abundance and prosperity and all the opportunity in the world, even though your bank account might not be overflowing with hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars right now. But the truth is that you have the capabilities of creating that. The truth is that you have all of the love that you want and need and can enjoy, even though the relationship might not be in the physical right now. And so I know that we're getting a little esoteric on this, but it's an important point, because what it determines is your state of being when he pulls away, which is one of those make or break moments. If you go to scarcity and panic, then he's going to respond with the same thing, like, oh, that's unattractive, I don't like that. One of my friends was going out with this woman, and his life was super busy, and his career was just exploding, and he had to be at all these meetings. And so he calls her up, and he really liked her, and she was gorgeous and fun and smart, and he was the right guy for her. Like, there was this great connection, but the timing in his life wasn't such where he was wanting a relationship. And so he calls her up and says, hey, I can meet you for coffee real quick on my way to the airport. And she wrote back to him, no, I'm sorry, I'd love to hang out with you, but why don't you call me when you have some proper time to spend? And he was like, wow, like it caused him to reflect and caused him to be thinking like, wow, like if I'm going to be with this woman, I really need to step in and be with her at the level that she's requiring. What was it Steve Harvey said, that chivalry isn't dead, it's just not required?
Yeah, I love that.
And we love to step up to the challenge that you're providing. So if he is falling away from your life, if you're sharing like, yes, this is what I want, and exactly like Marnie said, it's got to be done in a way that's standing in your own power, that's standing in your own source of love. If you're doing that in that way, and he's falling away from your life, and you're staying centered in that, if he's the right guy, he will come back, right? If he's not the right guy, he wasn't your source of love in the first place. And remembering that will help create a feeling of freedom and peace. Yes, and he may come back. Once you're like, no, thank you. I love that. That is so true. And so the question itself is a sign for me as a coach that belief that when I like someone, he pulls away is also an underlying limiting belief. That what we do is we unconsciously collect evidence that we're right, because then we get to stay safe, right? So what I love about the questions that everyone's been asking is the questions themselves are an insight into some of the limiting beliefs that Kalpana and Stacy are talking about that could actually be undermining everything that you're doing and trying harder. Because trying harder isn't the best approach. Changing your approach is the best approach, right? Find a different way to do it, because, and I say this with love in my heart as a fellow intellectual, thinking your way out of your thoughts is a dead end, right? If you could think your way out of your thoughts and become different, think differently, you would have already. You've spent a lot of time trying. So what we want to do is we want to take it below the surface, down another level, and look at how can we change what we believe. Because when we change what we truly believe in an authentic way, we don't have to like white knuckle our thoughts. I am Stuart Smalley and I am good enough, right? We're like, I am good enough, right? Look at these two ladies. I mean, they're rocking confidence. So And I just have to say on that tip, you know, for everyone watching this and everyone at home and everyone who's going to be at the live event, you know, Marnie is one of the best in the world at helping you shift those beliefs around love. And one of the things that's great, Marnie, is you know, and I heard you say this at the last event around one of your, we call them unique geniuses. It's just things that you're talented at, things that you're good, and you know you're in your zone of genius when what you're great at is also the way you get to serve other people. One of the things you're great at is creating curriculum and content in a framework that's so easy to apply, easy to remember, and easy to practice when it matters most, which is everything. It's like if you aren't able to practice it when the rubber meets the road in the heat of the moment, that's where the change is going to occur. That's where the 2-degree shift happens. And you are phenomenal at coaching women through this, coaching people in general. I know the main people is women, but coaching people in general on how to shift these beliefs so that they can be bigger and better expressions of love in the world. It's very, very awesome to see you at work doing that.
Oh, thanks, Matt. I appreciate that. Well, I did used to be a teacher. I mean, a teacher of small children. Now I teach women to bring out their inner child, right? Grow up your inner child and bring her out to play. So ladies, thank you so much for being here. I really want to encourage you to click on that button and claim your ticket. We're building a community, and this is going to be your new safe spot, and we're going to help you from now, you know, until we get together. It's a 3-day event. We're going to focus on 3 pieces. They're the Dating with Dignity formula to create love, to find love. And that is reveal what's really keeping you single. And I love this part, once and for all and for the last time. Like let's hit those issues, get them handled, because as Stacy said, the new level, new devil, but let's handle them. And then we release it. And I'm talking about not just up here, but like in your body. We have women who come to this event and they feel like, you know, I lost 20 pounds. Like, I feel lighter. I feel hopeful. I feel happy. I feel joy. I feel like I'm back to me again. I lost her, right? So we release that through some experiences. You will not have to like crawl through a tube and rebirth yourself. I promise you that, okay? I went to that seminar. I cried. Okay, and then on day 3, we really look at this rejuvenation piece, which is like, okay, great. So how do I date? How do I be in my feminine? What does it look like? What are some dating tips, strategies, and techniques? Because here's what's different about what we're doing, and I say this all the time. I can give you the words to say. I can give you the scripts. I can tell you what to do. But my intention for you is to be a woman who is so authentic and so skilled in the mastery of dating in the 21st century from an authentic, feminine, powerful place that ultimately you don't really need me, right? Because you have the skills and the tools to figure it out. I'm a believer in tools to date, not rules. And so we're going to start to teach you a lot of those tools. You're going to come out there with, you know, a notebook and a toolkit that you're going to apply in your life. So the invitation is make a decision. You know, lives are changed from one decision, and we can wish, and we can want, and we can hope. But that's easy. The hard part, the challenge that really gets us the result we want, is to make a firm decision, not just by our thoughts, but by our actions. And I stand behind this process. It's a process. I stand behind it from the bottom of my heart, and I want you to give that gift to yourself in 2015 and come meet all of us. And you'll see Craig. I'll be hosting. You'll see Matt. You'll see Stacy and Kalpana and all the rest of us. So before we say goodbye, Matt, any final words to our Platinum members who have been listening to us almost 7 days a week for the last 30 days?
Yes, I just want to say, you know, what a joy and a privilege it is to serve. And I hope that you receive some ideas and some insights and some actions, and that your life is already on the upward trend that you want it to be. And so it is so much fun being with you, Marnie, and being a part of this whole event that we're doing. And I really hope to see everybody at the live event in January.
Awesome. So ladies, go to your datingwithdignitysummit.com/login go to your page in the listening room and click down and claim your ticket. There's also a button here you can do it. You get to bring a friend for $197. So once you get your ticket, you're going to get an email inviting you to come with a friend. Let's make this movement even bigger. Get your girlfriend for accountability. So when you're like, she goes, no, we are going. So make sure you come armed with your accountability partner and your wing girl. Of course, please, you can follow me on Twitter at Marnie Batista. If you have any questions, we'll answer them. And I joke that you can also follow me on Instagram where you'll see nothing but pictures of me and my children and items that I have cooked. However, I love to make friends with you on Instagram. All right, ladies, so I will see you. Remember, Platinum ladies, you got He Said, She Said coming up, I think, about in an hour. So I have a lunch break. Matt and I are going to get ready to do that for you. Book your plane tickets. Make this the weekend that you stop procrastinating and you make a decision to find love now. I will see you all at Ignite Your Life Live 2015. Welcome to the community. Woohoo! Mwah! Bye.